My name is Kevin Dominique, and I was one of the members on the team Juggernauts on our Soul Run video. My main focus on this project was the rendering on the final car. I also did the animation for the final futuristic car and the tracking and match movement for the final scene. Now, when doing the rendering, I had to worry about a lot of things like reflections and all these other different things to make it look realistic. So what I had to do first, mess around with mental ray settings in order to get it to look realistic, mess around with irradiance values and different things like that. Then I had to find HDRI that would work well in the scene, so that would look like it's actually driving through the scene. Another thing that I had to worry about after I was done with the rendering, and even before the animation, was the tracking of the video, because you notice this camera movement, the camera is moving and it's bobbing while the car is driving off. So tracking was necessary in order to get the movement, from the camera, to match with the movement of the car, so it looked realistic.
Hi, I'm Randy Etheridge, and I worked on the team Juggernauts. We did the video solar run video with the futuristic car that's very efficient compared to modern cars of today and things like that. The first thing you'll notice that I worked on was the hologram. And in order to get the effect that I wanted, I took a rendered video of a spinning truck. I made it this kind of Star Wars hologram look. In order to do that, I just changed the color on the vehicle to make it the kind of color that we were looking for, which is kind of a bluish, light blue type color. After doing that, I used After Effects to put in some lines. You can kind of see them, the statically noisy look. I just animated a few lines going across it to make it look like it's going in and out. I took a grid pattern and placed it over it with a transparency using a stencil alpha layer, which After Effects has built in, so that the grid and the lines that are animated would only show up in the same shape and form of the hologram. Using that and layering of the videos and composition, I was able to get a holographic effect. The other thing that I worked on in the project was where the camera is being exploded out into space. It's called the Earth Zoom. What I did for that is I had different layers. I got them from Google, different image layers from Google with the satellite imagery from the location that we filmed the final sequence of the modern car leaving. So using that information, I got 8 different layers and used those layers so that each time you zoomed out on one layer, the other layer would come into focus, and what that gave you was essentially the effect of the camera being pulled out from space from the car. The final thing that I worked on in the project was a final cut, editing in the final data, the final footage, and getting them in place and working on some transitions and color corrections to give it a more cinematic.
I'm Zach Brunson. I'm a member of Team Juggernauts. What I worked on for our video was taking a stock truck and transforming it to match the truck that we used in our video, generating various particle effects that we used, and throwing all these together in the correct place in our composite video. To do the transformation on the truck, I had to get the model and then modify several aspects of it. Grill, the front bumper, the headlights, the hood, the wheels, to make it match the truck that we used in our video. For particle effects, I had to generate the exhaust coming out of the truck and the ones and zeros that were used in the geolab sequence. As for compositing everything together, I had to take all the image sequences that I generated and actually place them on top of our videos and make sure that anything that needed to be occluded was occluded, and take rotoscopes that were done by my other teammate and use them to make sure that the exhaust wasn't showing on top of the truck when it was behind, and ones and zeros were behind the proper computers.
Hi, I'm Nick Gatesky. I'm a member of Team 4, the Juggernauts, and my part of this project was primarily doing the rotoscoping of the drive-up sequence. I also did some of the prototyping for the hologram projection.
The drive-up scene needed to look dark and gloomy, so we added exhaust and smog to the scene. To do this, I had to rotoscope out the entire truck so that we could add the exhaust behind it. After the truck was rotoscoped, we added an animation of exhaust particles. We then added several layers of dynamic color grading to create the illusion of smog. In the computer lab scene, we tried 2 different methods of projection. I did the first prototype, which used an ocean material to create the feel of an unstable image being projected from the ceiling. I was also responsible for the making of video, which you are watching now. We recorded everyone's voice via the HD camera and digitized it. I then had to filter out segments of and remove the background noise. I then had to gather enough content from each of the group members to match their speech to videos and animations.